When she's claiming fraud, Missouri has a law that protects consumers from business transactions, like you said, that are committed in a fraudulent way. Wouldn't this apply, if this applies to journalists, which it doesn't constitutionally, but setting that aside for a second, wouldn't Claire McCaskill actually be guilty under this law of consumer protection of selling someone a service under the guise of something else, since she's selling her voters? She's telling her voters she's a moderate. She's selling herself as a product, saying I'm a moderate and I'll vote a moderate, but that's not really what the product is.
And they're not getting the service that they're being advertised here. That's an excellent point you've made. I mean, you can talk about, all right, so there are 4 different points of the law here that I've got written down. So you have to prove that there was a fraudulent claim over the good or service, 1, so we've got her running as a moderate. 2, you have to have loss of money or property in that process. Well, you can talk about tax policy, you can talk about Obamacare, you can talk about your Obamacare payments. There's a lot of different ways you can make that argument. I'm being tongue-in-cheek here, and then you have to prove that there was that loss actually resulted from the deceptive practice, right? And you have to prove that the product was not as advertised. That's pretty much obvious at that point. But yeah, so you've got a really strong case here if you actually wanted to go after Claire McCaskill, if Josh Hawley wanted to push her on consumer protection, because the consumers, in this case the voters, aren't getting what they were sold in the first place.
No, they aren't. And it would be even worse if she were reelected, because she admitted that she wants to ban guns, that she's the same as Obama and his policies. So if she were to vote on some gun control legislation that takes away the rights of her voters to keep and bear arms, there would be another loss. A loss of privilege because of her fraudulent advertising here. The point is, this is a really good thing to come to light for voters in Missouri, because they can see the truth. They can see not only is she not a moderate like she claims to be, not only is she a radical leftist who is going to vote in lockstep with the D.C. Democratic Party bosses and not according to the interests of her voters, but she lies about it, and when she's caught, she goes after the free press. It's so ironic, because the Democratic Party constantly claims President Trump is attacking the free press. That's actually what Claire McCaskill is doing today. She is calling for legal action against a journalist.
Oh, that's exactly it. You know, this reminds me of a couple different things. The first off is the one, the age-old story, well, not age-old because it's more of a 21st century thing, but the girlfriend catches the boyfriend texting and flirting with another girl when she looks to check the time on his cell phone. She confronts him about it, and instead of apologizing for what he's done or owing up to what he's done, he gets mad at her for going through her phone. Now, If I'm Josh Hawley, I compare this directly to what David Daleiden has been going through in California, and I hold up Claire McCaskill and her campaign manager right next to Kamala Harris and Javier Becerra, because this is exactly the same kind of approach. Caught with a hand in the cookie jar, circle the wagons, and then blame the guy who broke the story.
Right, kill the messenger.
Same playbook.
Kill the messenger. That's not, the free press is supposed to expose corruption. That's why they're a balancing act to our elected representatives, because they expose corruption so people know who they're voting for.